about to get canceled for this, and some of you are going to be mad, but I actually don't care at all. But it's like, it shows that some people in our generation did not grow up with the parents that said the red birds go with the red birds and the blue birds go with the blue birds. It shows, because why are we mixing races? Like, you guys, like, whatever, you know, like, that might be racist to say, but why do we mix races? Why are we not just keeping the white people with the white people, keeping the black people with the black people, keeping the Hispanics with the Hispanic? Why are we mixing races? Did y'all not grow up with a family that was like, hey, like, just letting you know, boys go with girls and girls go with boys. Red birds go with red birds and blue birds go with blue birds. Like, what the I'm telling you, this world went to when we thought it was okay to, like, be mixing all these crazy races. What are we doing?
I cannot believe this woman posted this video on her own accord.
Like, let's just keep it simple. You know, let's just keep it simple. Stop changing your gender. That's a little fake and gay, as Candace would say. Stop changing your gender. Girls don't go with girls. Boys don't go with boys. Don't mix races. And don't move in with a boy until you're married. My sister and her husband got engaged. They bought a house together. My sister was not allowed to live in that house until they had said their vows and officially had married. It's just, oh, come on, like, let's be classy. Like, why are we being tacky and trashy? Ugh.
She would go on to write this as we take it full screen. I'm so opinionated lately, which is sinful. Lord, forgive me. But I just wish going to church, taking care of our bodies, and being friends with everyone, and loving and sharing Jesus' names was normal. But it's not anymore, because the whole woke generation has killed that, and we are making things that aren't normal things now. And it's disgusting. God did not create us for this. Now, there is a lot of tea happening here.
Serious. Mind you, this girl went to University of South Carolina with me. Same exact year, same entry year. We were in the same spaces that I was. Multiple mutuals with me on Instagram. And yet she's since deactivated her accounts, and she says she cares so little that she doesn't care or cancel me. Deactivate her Instagram, deactivate her TikTok. Pretty sure she got fired. I tried to send you a message on Instagram, but I guess I'll just say it here. You are 24 years old and you're the product of indoctrination by your family, yet you are a college graduated woman and you still have a belief system like this. Do you know how dangerous of a person you are to be around? Genuinely. Like, you are not a safe person for people of color to be. The fact that I even probably was in the same bars as you at the same time, that is horrifying to me. It is terrifying that you exist and you're allowed to walk amongst the general public. People wonder why the South is so backwards, because rumor mill has it that your mother is an elementary school teacher. So what? She's gonna see two kids of different races playing together and think, "Oh my God, I can't believe no one taught them that they can't beat it." What the are you serious? And you have the gall to say, "I'm shocked. Did your parents never teach you that?" No, my parents don't believe in segregation. What the are you talking about?
This queen, Brielle, would spill it.
You are a disgrace to your university. You're a disgrace to your state. You're a disgrace to your race and your gender. You're a disgrace to your religion, because you have the nerve to bring God into it in the next slide and be like, yeah, like, we just need to, like, God would be disgusted. And if we want to be biblically accurate, Jesus was a brown man. Like, people think that way. And it's because their parents taught them that and their grandparents taught them that, and it's years and years and years, and it's probably back to when they owned a plantation in South Carolina, I'm sure, if we want to go back that far. And it makes me so sad, because the South is such a beautiful place, and people like you and your family, like, make it inhabitable, especially and I'm saying that as a white woman. Imagine how you make the people around you feel. And University of South Carolina, you clearly need to do better. You clearly need to have an understanding the basics of a race class, understanding the basics of racism and segregation and the history of the South.
God bless her for doing so. According to the Nerd Stash, her name is Camille. Now, if there's any irony here, all right, she brought up Candace Owens, seeming to praise her, then also alluded to race mixing being sinful, per se. And, you know, I'm sorry to share.
A shared love of right-wing politics, the hand of God, and a FaceTime proposal before they'd even been on a date. Candace Owens' husband wooed her in an unusual way. Political commentator Candace Owens seems to be always on the attack. From hurling insults at Democrats to sharing anti-vax rhetoric to inciting unlikely Twitter feuds with Cardi B, Owens continues to occupy the spotlight as a controversial conservative media figure.
But I think it is wrong for our society to keep perverting things.
Owens undoubtedly has strong opinions about men in today's world. As a result, many are wondering what makes the man in her life, husband George Farmer, stand out. On brand with her outspoken persona, Candace Owens' husband comes from a family with a political background. British-born George Farmer is the son of Lord Michael Farmer, a member of an elite lawmaking government body called the House of Lords. George reportedly graduated from St. Peter's College at Oxford University with a degree in theology. Like his wife, George Farmer has staunch conservative values. He's the former chairman of a right-wing group Turning Point UK and was recently named the CEO of Parler, a microblogging app used almost exclusively by far-right Trump supporters.
So, what do you make of this, Camille? I'm genuinely curious. The person that you look up to, the person that you practically served, at least in this context, as an influence, going against what you believe, interesting stuff. Now, with Owens.
First thing I want to say is Eminem is obviously a gay man. It's very sad that Eminem cleaned out his closet but never came out of his closet. Okay, a lot going on here. I think first and foremost, I just would like to again remind people that he is in fact a struggling internally gay man. I think LeBron means to do bad. I just don't think he's that smart. I really do. I think LeBron James is low IQ.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. In thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK.
But, the thing about Candace Owens is that she's too smart for therapy, as she explained to Russell Brand.
She has too high of an IQ.
Yeah,
for
she
therapy.
said a lot of high IQ individuals can't do therapy, and you're sitting there like, yeah.
Maybe take a second opinion.
I'm going to say
Candace.
that, yeah. I think some IQ individuals need therapy urgently.
Kanye West, he decided to showcase his new Yeezy line during the Paris Fashion Week. And of course, it had to be this. Yeah, White Lives Matter. That's great. He partnered up with conservative advocate Candace Owens. Yeah. They were joining together and wearing their White Lives Matter shirt.
And I'm actually staunchly conservative when it comes to the trans debate. And people say, oh, well, even if a person is trans, you should have the decency and the respect to call them by their preferred pronoun. I don't play that game. And what I always say to people is, if you have a mental disorder, that's fine. I don't need to come up to you and tell you that I think you have a mental disorder. That would be rude. Right. But when you have a mental disorder and you're now requiring that I have a mental disorder, right, to meet your mental disorder, that doesn't work for me. Which is to say that if somebody was walking around as a schizophrenic and saying that they were Superman and then telling me that I was required to treat them like Superman, I wouldn't play the game. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about trans. I think the slope is so slippery and they find that to be bigotry. No, I'm not going to call you she. I'm not going to call you her just because you're a grown man and you're wearing a wig and a dress. That's literally telling me that I am now required to have a mental disorder because you have one.
That's just a sample of how hateful she is. But again, once more, that is a person Camille looks up to. Kai Holloway of the Daily Beast wrote, Owens is not actually there to be white conservatives' emissary to the black community. Rather, she's a tool of racist propaganda and deflection, a black mouthpiece who propagates and validates anti-black talking points while exploiting her own race to shield white racists like Trump from charges of racism. Owens gets trotted out when white conservatives want to illustrate their idea of a good black, willing to label black culture pathologically broken, claim black people are pretending to be oppressed, and smear Black Lives Matter as domestic terrorists. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.